Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the island and welcome to a little Sunday early evening update stream here from Key West. We are going to check out on several locations that you guys asked us to go and have a look at after Hurricane Ian. So we are on our way to our first stop. And our first stop has been requested by D. So D, we are on our way over to SIBONEY on Catherine Street. We're currently riding up Louisa Street, crossing Simonton over here. And as you can see, the streets, even the smaller side streets, are now pretty cleaned up. At least in this part of town. In Bahama Village, some of the smaller streets still have a lot of the branches and everything on the sides. You know, they're going by area. Looks like the Gato Village Pocket Park is doing great over here. I was kind of worried because that is like a big front of the house, but it doesn't have a house attached to the back, so it was like a big panel, which I was a little bit worried about with the wind. Over here, Louisa Street. And earlier today we went down to some of the areas in Bahama Village that got all the flooding, and trying to help people get their appliances out of the house, etc. Obviously I wasn't very useful for that, so I'll go back tomorrow for the smaller items. And there is a huge amount of damage. There was a lot of flooding there. It's not mentioned enough because it's one of the areas in Key West, you know, where tourists don't go, but where a lot of the locals live. And a lot of the locals that cannot afford, you know, the big million dollar homes. So the ones that already have the least have been hit the hardest. But they're doing a great job at cleaning things up in the other parts of town. And there is just way more work to be done there. And Key West is eagerly awaiting a word on if FEMA is actually going to help or not, because we are not included in the disaster zones for Hurricane Ian, despite all the flooding and the damage. So we're now on Catherine Street, crossing Royal Street. So we are, if you look at a map, we are kind of somewhere here in the middle of the island. Kind of difficult to see with the glare on the screen. And we are checking on SIBONEY restaurant, as Dee asked us to do. And I'm pretty sure they have been doing great and reopened pretty quickly, given that they have a great brick structure. So as you can see, they are currently open. No damage to the outside. Of course, here in the center of the island, things were a little more protected. And so protected from the wind. The surges are a little bit different on the island because it really depends on how high up the areas are. So even if you were in the center, or, you know, for example in Newtown, they still got a lot of water. So SIBONEY here doing good. Waiting for you to come back, Dee. Over here we still have hurricane shutters up on the houses. And as you might have seen in our previous streams, the main area around Duval Street and Old Town Key West are back open. But there's a lot of damage in the parts that you can't see, and you probably won't be able to see when you come and visit for a short time. Looks like we've got a pretty big tree here that came down. So guys, our StreamLabs bot is posting the link if you want to help some of the families that have been directly affected by Hurricane Ian here in Key West. You can go to conklove.org and check out that fundraiser. It's going directly to the families of Bahama Village. So if you can, that is a really great place to start. And by the way, guys, this is our first stream for today. We will head over to Schooner Wharf tonight for some live music. If you want to come and hang out at Schooner Wharf by the old harbor with us and even put in your own song requests, we're going to do that later today. Around 7 p.m, hoping to catch the sunset from the roof, second floor at Schooner Wharf. They have a little hidden rooftop. So our next stop, we are going to stop at a location that Marty asked us to stop at. So we are headed over to Duval Street. So we're crossing Simonton Street here. We're currently on Amelia, and we will have to take a little shortcut over here because there is a parking lot over here. So we're gonna cut over one block here on Simonton. So next intersection here is Duval Street. So we're at the quiet end of Duval. And over here, 1108 is doing good. Looks like the stores are open. No external damage to the building. Not even a missing wood plank. No seaweed hanging from the second floor porches, so all good here at 1108 Duval. Over here the rum bar is open and looks like it's doing good too. And since we're closed, let's go and check out the Southernmost Beach Cafe really quick. So the Southernmost house has actually been hit quite a bit. They had this outdoor seaside cafe at the mansion out by the water. I think that's been pretty much completely destroyed. We went to check on it like the day after, the morning after Ian, and you could see all the bits and pieces. So the Atlantic is straight ahead. So over here there's still a lot of cleaning up to do. The Southernmost house itself is fine. Wanted to check on the Southernmost Beach Cafe since we're here. I know the Butterfly Museum has reopened. They had some water damage. And so this area here was like knee-deep underwater when we did our very first check-in. So things are drying up nicely. We're really lucky with the weather. It's kind of sunny and not very humid, very unusual for, well, late September, early October. So that helps a little bit, drying things up. So here's Southernmost house. The building itself is doing fine. It's more this outdoor area here that's been hit. But it looks like, you know, they got the sand back where it belonged. So these are some leftovers of the beachside cafe.
Hey, you two.
Hey! Here you go. Here you can see this whole area was their outdoor restaurant. The cafe at the mansion, I think. So this was like all outdoor seating. The food truck itself is still there, but I think pretty much everything around it has been swept away. Look how innocent and peaceful it looks. Southernmost Beach Cafe over here, still working. Got hit pretty hard.
Hey! We watched your videos and that's why we did
Oh, great, yes. Yeah.
Get it to where you get it on Saturday. We
Yeah.
almost canceled. We're like, no, she's riding around. We see everything looks okay.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't. Welcome.
We kept looking at every live feed and your videos came up.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll watch this.
Oh, good. Well, enjoy your time. So let's get out of the way. I think he wants to access this here. And over here we have the Southernmost Beach Cafe. So again, this area was hit pretty hard by the wind. And the other areas I mentioned for the damage is a lot of flooding. You've seen the after deck we checked out on Louis' backyard in previous streams. We're gonna check back in, over time to see how repairs are going. But so for now here, at least it's cleaned up a little bit. The beach kind of looks like a beach again. And I'm sure there's still a lot of work here at the Southernmost Cafe. And of course over here, the guys at the Southernmost house are gonna have some work on their food and bar area. The mojito bar here has been hit. But the building itself, the historic Southernmost house, is doing good. And from here, hey! And from here, let's go and have a quick check-in at the Southernmost buoy. Of course, we've been here a lot. Looks pretty clean to me. And after this, we're going to check in on a location as requested by Debbie. That's going to be our last stop for tonight. And then I'll head over to Schooner Wharf for our second stream later. Hope you guys can join me. Just some laid-back live music by the historic harbor. So the southernmost point, the buoy here, did pretty well. There was just a little bit of damage to the foundation. We were able to look inside the cable huts. And everything here is drying nicely. Still smells of seaweed, and there still is a lot of seaweed over here. And the camera is probably not catching it, but there is some structural damage here to the concrete platform. There is about, I don't know, how much would that be? About 20 centimeters, sorry guys, I'm still not used to inches. There's a difference in the level, so that part there seems to be requiring some repair. And you can see the base of the buoy there has a little bit of damage too. But the buoy itself is doing fine. Not even too much chip paint or anything. She did great. You've probably seen some images where she's like totally submerged in the waves. And as that lovely couple just said, if you are planning or if you were planning to come to Key West and you're wondering now what to do, please by all means do come. Everything is open. We try to clean up as fast as possible. It's just the harder hit areas, a little bit outside of the center, that still require a lot of work. And you're gonna see this quite a bit everywhere. Refrigerators and washers and dryers being on the sidewalk. They always tend to be either ground floor level or even, outside. By the way, we don't have a lot of basements in Key West because it's all coral. So they were all on ground floors. Nobody really has a basement on the island. I think there are like a handful of houses, which includes the Hemingway house. But then again, I'm not sure it's a really good idea to keep anything in a basement in Key West, even if you had one, because overall we're not very high up from sea level. So Debbie asked me to check in on a place. So I knew about the bed and breakfast, about the Andrews Inn. But the lane, I had never heard of that lane. So I'm really excited to go and check out the lane that I don't think I've ever been to. So thank you, Debbie. Well, reason for that is also that, you know, if you don't have a car and you ride a bike, there are certain streets you barely ever ride down. You know, you don't even realize it, but there are some streets, you know, you kind of tend to avoid. And this little lane is off Truman, so this is one of the roads that is, you know, pretty much our biggest street that we have. So if you can on a bike, they're kind of the ones that you avoid. But we are looking for little EANES Lane. And I actually wonder if, since we're here, why don't we go through this little street here. You know I like little lanes. Or does that... No, wait a minute. Sorry, I thought there was like we could turn, but it's a straight through lane going back to Duval Street. We've just been there. We don't want to go back. So over here, the lighthouse, the keeper's quarters here had a little bit of damage. There is a tree that came down. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can get closer. So a little bit of damage at the, not the lighthouse itself, but the keeper's quarters here. So that tree came down and is leaning a little bit on the roof. It doesn't look like it damaged the roof too much, but man, it's a big tree. And it kind of broke up in the middle. I don't know if I can get you guys high enough here to see that. So that is the lighthouse area here. Okay, we're kind of in a one-way here, thanks. Okay. Okay, all right. Where is EANES Lane? somewhere here between Whitehead Street and Duval Street, there is a little lane. And that lane is home to the Little Andrews Inn. And lane looks pretty good. So over here we have the Andrews Inn. I think they do have an entrance from the other side as well. So looking pretty good. The house here still has the shutters up, but nice and protected here at the end of the lane. Little Andrews Inn. So unless they had some flooding, I would say the Andrews Inn and Little EANES Lane here is doing good. And since we're close by, our very last stop is I do want to take you to the area of Bahama Village that has been hit by the flooding. So these are areas that are pretty low laying on the island. You do have the Navy base that is over there. So there is only the Navy base between the water and those areas of Bahama Village.
Hi!
Hey! And so the damage here was only mainly caused by flooding, not so much the wind. So you had the Atlantic side that has been affected by the winds and the flooding, and then you had Newtown areas where you also had a lot of water. And again, guys, we still do take requests. If there are any specific places you want to go and check out, please let us know. You can connect with us on our Facebook page, Right on the Rock, or you can email me at media@rightontherock.live and let us know if there is a place you want to go and check on. And if it's a private address, we're not going to mention any names or the actual address we're going to ride by, and just have a look at the outside damage. Of course, we can't really access any private property, etc. So but again, we're here if there's anything you want to check out. So Ian made landfall, of course, not here in the Keys, but actually further out, 80 miles out. And so Fort Jefferson, the dry tortugas were actually in the eye of the hurricane. They're still assessing the damage. The first pictures we've seen looks like it's doing okay. I mean, it's a big, structure. So the eye missed us by 80 miles. It did get closer than anybody had predicted, though. So here, this area is what's called the Fort Village Apartments, and this is the area that was flooded. Like, people lost pretty much everything if they were on a ground floor. And a lot of the places weren't accessible still today to clean out because, you know, there were cars parked in front of the properties that, you know, can no longer be moved. So they have to move like cars one by one. You kind of start at the end and then go there, each car one by one. So this area here is the one that is currently the most affected by the flooding. Trying to clean things out here. And the website that our Streamlabs bot is posting, conklove.org, is a fundraiser, a GoFundMe, directly for the displaced families here in Bahama Village. Spoke to a lady earlier and she said, well, they are actually living in the house, although, you know, all the appliances are gone, etc. They can't cook, they can't, you know, they just don't have anywhere else to go. And so they wash their clothes at a friend's place. So if you can, and every little, you know, every donation, no matter how small, is really going to help rebuilding our little island. So this area here, if you see images of flooding, etc., this whole park here was underwater. We came here right the morning after, so we do have images from this specific area. You can see there's still mud everywhere, but it's drying up, so everything kind of gets this cakey white. So it's gonna get really dusty. Todd, I'm reading your comment about the east side, the liveaboard boats. Do you mean Houseboat Row out by Garrison Bight? Because that is doable. I mean, honestly, pretty much all of the island is doable by bike. It's a little bit more tricky to go out to the airport, for example, but it's still doable. So again, let me know, guys, where you want to go, what you want to visit, and check on. The easiest is to contact us via Right on the Rock on our Facebook page, or via email at media@rightontherock.live, and we'll go and check on whatever places you want to see and make sure everything's doing good. Again, if you are planning to come to Key West, there's absolutely no reason to cancel your trip. We actually met a couple earlier that was thinking of canceling that trip, and then ended up not canceling because they saw on our channel here that, you know, it's doable. And again, we were in downtown day before yesterday for a little evening walk. Things were perfect. We have great weather right now, and pretty much everything is open. The areas that have been hit and you know, the hardest and are still under reconstruction and cleaning up are residential areas in Newtown and here in Bahama Village, where we just were. But the center of the island, all of Duval Street and Old Town, is doing fine. Everything is open. Actually, there are even more things open now than before Ian, because you know, places like Blue Heaven were closed for the summer. And Blue Heaven reopened yesterday. So a Key West icon is back. So yes, anyways, do not cancel. Come on down. We're happy to see you. And we'll be headed over to Schooner Wharf for our second stream tonight. Starting around 7 from Schooner Wharf. We're gonna see if we can watch the sunset from there. Hey, we're back on Truman. Now I know where Ian's Lane is. And I'm gonna take you guys with me down Petronia Street to Blue Heaven, just to make absolutely sure that they open. So again, they were closed for a month. So the chickens had claimed Blue Heaven as theirs. They didn't have to share, but I bet they were disappointed there were no food crumbs. So as we said earlier, Lighthouse is doing good. There is a tree that came down on the keeper's quarters, but it didn't damage the roof too much, so they should be back up and running soon. Hemingway House here is doing good, one of the rare houses on the island that has a basement. I do not know if the basement flooded, but I do know that the cats are alright. And look how clean Whitehead is. So the first street to be cleaned of all the branches and everything was Duval Street. And I think Whitehead was pretty much the second one, because they are the big roads connecting one side of the island to the other one. Okay, there is a little bit left here. So we are still in Bahama Village. This area here is a little bit higher up than the housing area I showed you earlier. And here we go. They are back. Blue Heaven reopened. One of our very, very typical Key West places. So they are back. So hope you enjoyed today's little update. We'll do more updates over time. So again, let us know if there's anything you want to check out. I'm gonna get ready and head over to Schooner Wharf tonight. So Gabe is playing there 7 till 11. If you are in Key West, come drop by and say hi, and we'll be live starting 7 o'clock with the sunset from the second floor, the little rooftop, the little hidden rooftop at Schooner Wharf. So stay safe, everybody. Enjoy your Sunday evening, and I hope to see you guys over on the Schooner stream. Have a great night, everybody.